Welcome back to Let's Have It Out. I'm Kandipayu. My guest on the show is Tembinkosi Bonakele. Well, let's hear what our viewers on social media think about anti-competitive behavior. And Penny Smith on Facebook has this to say. Eskom needs competition. Thank you very much, Penny, for that. I mean, I think this is one of the key things. I think when you were giving me the introduction earlier, you said you want a variety. Part of what you have to do is to create a variety, a choice for consumers. You want to show that you've got the competitive pricing. Why has Eskom not been put into the same challenge?
Well, it's been treated as a natural monopoly, and we're not the only country to have a national monopoly in the energy sector. There have been various interventions to liberalize the markets and to unbundle some of these state-owned monopolies. And there are lessons to be drawn in that. I think that the unbundling of Eskom, separating generation from distribution, and so on, is very, very important for transparency. Because first you need to understand how efficient or inefficient Eskom is.
Yeah.
So actually you need to understand how long does it take to build a power station and how much does it cost, so that you can benchmark Eskom against. Right now, there's nothing you see in their books.
But that's not entirely true, right? Because we've had opportunities such as IPPs. Do you think IPPs are a form of competition, so that actually that's perhaps a much easier way? Some different kinds of innovations that are coming through in terms of the energy
No.
sector.
Competition necessarily doesn't mean that you are always going to have competitors, but it means that you are going to be smart about regulating it. So you can accept it as a monopoly, but a monopoly has to be properly regulated. So that's why you have NERSA. But for NERSA to really understand the costs of Eskom, you do need this unbundling, because they need to justify the tariffs that they get. They need to, and those tariffs must not be based on costs that they incur as a result of inefficiency. Now, you know that it's a tendency of monopolies to be inefficient.
Yes.
So I think we have to be very careful about that. I've heard people objecting against this unbundling. This unbundling is one of the best things to ever happen when you have a monopoly situation, because you want to see the costs. Where do we lose money? Do we lose money because people are corrupt? Do we lose money because people are inefficient? Or they just don't know how to operate power stations and a distribution network?
Sure. Let's take a caller. I think we have a caller on the line. We have Tebogo from Johannesburg. Good evening, Tebogo.
Good evening. Hey, Commissioner Bonakele, you're a very hard man to find. But just a quick one. I just want to ask a question. Where in the radar is the creative industry as the Competition Commission? Because it seems like you're going for your kind of mainstream. Us in the creative industries, we kind of are far-fetched from you. And is it a matter of that we need to be proactively engaging with yourselves? Because we find that in our spaces, there's a lot of monopolization by certain companies and that work with multinationals, and the money is being siphoned out of the country, and artists, no wonder you've read stories of artists dying as paupers or indigents in this country. So where are we as a creative industry? Must we actually be contacting you, or at least are we part of the plan in terms of Competition Commission fixing the country in terms of monopolies?
Cool. Thank you very much, Tebogo.
Yeah, I mean, certainly we would want to engage some more. The Competition Commission is very much complaints-driven. So when we get complaints, and even just insights from the public is really, really helpful. So I would invite you to come and talk to us. There are already things we are tackling. So, for example, publishing is one area that we know affect artists a lot, because there's lots of monopolies who are publishing books. We have found a cartel there, a long-standing cartel that we are investigating. They've prevented not just people from entering publications for hard copies. They have prevented people from publishing online. So this affects not just general books we read for leisure, but school books as well. So that directly affects the entertainment sector. We also know that there are gatekeepers in this sector. For you to produce and to have your content being enjoyed and being widely publicized, you go through channels. There are monopolies. Some of them, we've looked at them, but I think that there is scope for doing more. Let me just add something, Kanti, which is also quite important in this, which he reminded me. There's now also, of course, an advent of technologies. There's the fourth industrial revolution, which is going to be one of the biggest challenges for regulation. Now, content is going to be something that's brought into our homes via technology. So people are going to read and consume content via platforms. How do you regulate platforms? We already know how big and powerful they are, whether you talk Google, you're talking Facebook, you're talking WhatsApp.
While we're on that, actually, I mean, you regulate South African competition, but as we talk about that, there are international firms which may actually be here and fostering uncompetitive behavior or even colluding. Do you have jurisdiction?
Yes, anything that affects South Africa, we have jurisdiction over. So if South African consumers are affected, but these companies might not have physical presence here. You might not see, but their presence is ubiquitous. Everybody today interfaces with Facebook, with WhatsApp, so with Google. Every day. They are so big that some people have started debating about whether they should not be paying taxes in jurisdictions where they don't have physical presence, but they have so many consumers.
Okay. I wanted to think about it when we come from the break, about what the point we made about fixing industries. And I want to actually just go into that and whether or not you are fixing it by pushing harder or fixing it actually by maybe doing a little bit more than you should. We'll take more of your calls and comments after this short break.